Hello, my name is Richie Hinton. I'm the CEO of Landscaping Victoria. I just wanted to take this opportunity to announce that we have reached an incredible milestone in the history of the Front Garden podcast, ticking over 75,000 downloads. That's an incredible achievement for what started off as a side experiment, really, during COVID. We're really proud to have hit that target, and we thank all our guests, our incredible hosts, Chris Weiss, Tyson Owen, and now Adam Hompas. Thanks to all our listeners, and look forward to another 100 plus episodes. And now, without further ado, let's get into the next episode.
Welcome to the Front Garden, brought to you by Coolabah Turf. Visit Victoria's premium instant turf supplier at coolturf.com.au.
And welcome to the Front Garden podcast, brought to you by Landscaping Victoria, proudly supported by Coolabah Turf. I'm your host, Adam Hompas. This show is for anyone who lives and breathes landscaping, whether you're on the tools, running the business, or just starting out. We're here to talk landscaping career journeys, industry trends, and everything in between. So thanks for joining me. And today we have Ashley Kellett from Global Landscapes here. Global Landscapes are new to Landscape Victoria. Even though they are new, they have established a growing business and specialise in pool surrounds, paving, decking, pergolas, retaining walls, turf and irrigation, softscapes, including planting and soil works. So welcome, Ashley. How are you, mate?
Yeah, really good. Really good.
Excellent. So as always, tell us a bit about your backstory and the journey and how Global Landscape started, please.
Yeah, so back in 1999, I finished high school, and I guess my mum came in and she just goes, well, you're not going to sit around on your ass and, go get a job, essentially. So she gave me three options. She was a plumber, sparky, or a landscaper. I wasn't super fussed on being a sparky, crawling through roof spaces and stuff, and dealing with poo wasn't sort of not my alley. Yeah, not ideal. So it was a bit of a creative outlet with landscape. So she sort of signed me up for a pre-apprenticeship, and it sort of went on from there. End up getting an apprenticeship through Swinburne from their job thing, and started an apprenticeship with Botanic Landscapes out in Healesville.
Oh yeah, nice.
So did my apprenticeship there, and then finally sort of moved on and became got a job at Semken Landscaping. So spent a decade there, and then after that I sort of moved on and worked with a mate who they're not landscaping anymore. He's moved on. He's a pool builder, but and then I think when I was 30, just finally decided to drop the hammer and go, well, let's just
give it a shot.
Yeah, let's just do it. Yeah,
how we all do it. Yeah, exactly.
So, 12, 13 years later, I'm still going.
You're right. So 10 years or so were you with Semken, did you say?
Yeah, round about. Yeah, I've sort of gone back and forth. Yeah. Still maintain that relationship. Do a little bit of subby work every now and then, but probably less and less these days. But yeah.
When you were with Semken, obviously, did you learn everything you needed to have the arsenal behind to start on your own, or did you find going out on your own is when you really started learning?
Weekends, I still did a few cashies, and that sort of held me in pretty good stead for what was up. But running your own business is a whole nother level, isn't it? So I don't know.
It gets a bit full on. I mean, the only reason I asked is because I remember, even though when I learned in residential landscaping, you sort of go out thinking, yeah, I've got this, quote unquote. But when you're out there, you start to realise some of the mistakes you make and best ways to learn.
You got to go back and fix them, and it costs you money and time, and you can't it pushes other jobs out and stuff. You're like, oh well.
And that's it. And someone can tell you over and over, make sure you do this way, but until you feel it, then obviously that's what's going to happen. Was there anything pivotal that happened when you started that made you think, oh, okay, I would need to adjust this? So under ordering or over excavating, something like that?
Yeah, I had a tendency to sort of over order stuff with Semken because it wasn't my money. So it's just like, we'll just get extra. It's fine. But that came. That was a big one. But yeah, I think that's think that's about it. Really, yeah.
It is interesting though because I think those mistakes, mate, as much as you learn them wherever you've been, even at trade school, as we just said, as soon as you make that mistake, then you obviously, because you feel it on the bottom line, don't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah. And same dealing with people as well. Like that's a tough one. If I'm out at the pub, I'm a different person. But if trying to put that sort of professional hat on, it doesn't come naturally to me. So it's sort of
We all learn though, don't we?
Yeah,
we all
absolutely.
get there eventually.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good. And that's the thing. Like it takes a fair bit of time, doesn't it, to get into the swing of wearing the hat of a business owner and a tradie, but you do get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Most of your work, whereabouts is it? Sort of more your eastern, or what sort of work?
Yeah, given that I've got sort of young kids in prep, I'm trying to sort of stay around the eastern suburbs, so as close to Wonga Park as we can, and that way I can sort of still do the school pickup and things like that. But inevitably, we're still taking jobs in Mentone and down Bayside and stuff like that as well. So it's whether or not we can manage it time wise. Yeah.
And how big's your crew?
Well, at the moment, it's limited. It's just me at the minute. Would have been last year? Yeah, last year. It took a bit of time out of the business just to hang out with my daughters because the twins were just going into prep, and I thought, you know what, let's just hang out with those guys for a little bit because they're only young for a little while. So
and then that's it, exactly.
Yeah. And so once they sort of, they're already starting to go, nah, Dad, you're a nerd, So at the moment, it's just me. I've got a subby crew that we can call on, and so the work's not. I won't say, I'm not going to say it's not my priority, but I know what you mean. We're sort of getting back. I'm getting back into it. So we'll start looking at filling the books up again and start employing again.
So when you say you've got a subby crew, is that other landscapers, or how does that work?
They were previous apprentices of mine that they've gone off on their own. They're happy to sort of come back and help out. So it's perfect. Yeah.
So they were your former apprentices, gone on their own, and now they're coming back in to help. That's good. It means it left on a good note and a good relationship to have, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we don't want to be upsetting too many people. So yeah.
No. And you mentioned obviously you do work sort of at your Wonga Park, down to your Bayside.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to ask, and I do like asking this, is how do you find the different ground conditions? Obviously, your eastern, you're going to have tough versus sandy Bayside. How do you deal with that and factor that into your quoting?
Wonga Park's gross. It's it's sort of really shaly rock. So I spend a lot more time with ground conditions, sort of excavating down to as deep as we can get our little 1.8 ton excavator and tilling it over to make it nice. Whereas Bayside, we still do the same, sort of turn the soil over, but probably use different products just to make the soil
workable.
Yeah, because it's quite sandy, and I guess that comes down to plant selection as well. So whether we'll change the plant selection down Bayside a little bit more, whereas you'd try and make it a bit a little bit different.
Your coastal versus
of course,
something different up.
The sort of the salty air as well, and all that sort of stuff. So but where we are, they get some pretty heavy frosts in Wonga Park. So
it would get cold up there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's not
early starts.
It's almost like in winter the sun doesn't sort of poke its head over until lunchtime. It's not great.
Definitely not ideal.
Yeah.
Definitely not ideal. And do you go into the design side of things too?
Yeah, I do. Just small ones. Like we just do rough sort of crayon sketches sort of thing. Yeah.
With the kids crayons?
Yeah, kids crayons, get the big fat ones. Yeah. If people want to go further, then we tend to sort of get them drawn up 3D from outsourcing, just to sort of try and look a little bit more professional, rather than rolling in with a couple of stick figures. And
so you'll actually draw it on paper, and then you'd send that off to someone to
3D render it.
Get a 3D render. Yeah, that's a good idea. So is that something local or is it offshore? It is offshore.
Yeah, it's a fella out in Vietnam, I think.
I've heard a few that happening of late, and it sounds like it's a economical way to do it.
Yeah, it's relatively cheap. So yeah.
So do you have to send off everything with the measurements and everything? Or
generally it's just a scale,
bit of a scale-ish.
Yeah, and you can 2D it as well.
When you do your designs, is that something that you will also sell when you go to quote? You say we obviously do the landscape construction, also do the design. Is that a separate fee on top of that?
It is it's separate. So we treat it a little bit differently. So we'll start with that. Would you like a design? Because it makes everything easy when it's on paper. it's easier to quote, and you've got a sort of finished product to look at before you've even started. So yeah, I think we sell that, and it just it's a separate fee, and then we go through the design process, and once they've okayed and they want a basketball court here and a whatever. Once they've sort of got the final drawing on paper or 3D rendered, then we quote it from that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they've got the budget to.
Hopefully they can afford to pay it. Let them look at it and go, whoop, see you later.
Well, let's just delete all the fun stuff and we'll just do the planting.
The basics.
Well, not the planting is fun. I like.
You do a lot of designer work as well. Like people obviously will say, here we go, we got a design done. Can you please quote off it that way? Or do you have a collection of designers that you'll work with also?
Not really. I don't. We do quote off plan, and that is my preference rather than walking in and going, oh, we can just do this, because there's too much grey area. But I don't have a particular set of designers. We've worked with a few in the past. I feel like most of those guys have sort of got their particular
contractors,
particular landscapes that they sort of prefer to use, and we're just sort of that guy that. Maybe we if the other landscapers are too busy, maybe we might squeeze a few out.
So when you do actually go into quote, what are some of the things that you will take into consideration? Obviously, excavation, all those things. How detailed do you get when you're actually doing the quote? Do you take obviously a lot of time to do the measuring and all that type of thing?
Yeah, generally, I'll break it down to everything. So if it's just a paving pool surround on the quote, I'll have like the coping, the coping by itself, the paving by itself, and then the lay price, lay coping, lay price, all that sort of stuff. Sort of, install skimmers and all that sort of stuff. It's broken down to that sort of degree, so you can sort of pick it apart and go, oh, I don't really want that, which to my detriment, I should probably be a little bit more. This is just the price, I guess. I don't know. What?
Even the detail isn't too bad though. It's full transparency to the client, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But sometimes it becomes a headache. We go, oh, we'll just take this off. We'll take this off. We'll take this off, and then, because some of the stuff on the quote leads to the next component. So if I'm just doing all the excavation, it'll be the excavation for paving and soil works and stuff like that as well. So it's sort of.
So with the excavation that you do at your eastern side of where it's really quite hard rock and whatnot, do you obviously have you some of your machines, or do you also get external companies in to also help get the preparation done?
If it's just bulking stuff out, we normally get someone else. If it depends on how much it is, because they've got tip sites and stuff, and I'm just it's too expensive for me to take it to a tip or something, or hopefully we chuck it on a Facebook page and go, oh, I've got some clean fill coming out of.
Is that still happening? Can you still do that?
You still can. Awesome. Because down the road from us, a lot of people have got 10-acre properties or 20-acre properties. They're like, yeah, we'll take some, sure.
That's great. I have heard of that up your way, is that people will take it for free, but where we are more in the Bayside suburbs, it's a nightmare to get
off. So there's still lots of people that just go, we'll take it. We've got 100 acres. We're just trying to fill this area.
Just dump it. Dump it. There used to be this thing called needfill.com or something, and I remember when they were doing the Dingley bypass, they were taking hundreds of cubes, and we used to send the trucks there for free.
Perfect.
But now that's all obviously stopped, so excavation prices are sort of getting high, and that's something I did want to speak to you about. How are you finding the waste removal pricing happening at the moment? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just put a when it comes to quoting, I just put an allowance on if and people go, oh, $1,800. Well, that's things that's a lot. Everything's prices are going up. It's just what it costs, and you're like, oh, well, maybe I'll get rid of it myself.
And then they call you and say this is too hard to do.
Hang on, there's a lot more than we thought. Yeah.
So is that something?
Tip fees are gross.
And they are gross. Yeah. So you'll have an allowance there, and then obviously anything extra. Will be charged as per
load or whatever it is. Yeah, we've just got a little tipper, a little 3-ton.
With the work that you're doing, if you're doing your own design, is there anything in particular that you will use? So, for example, is there a type of stone you particularly like to use? Is it bluestone, sandstone, or is it a type of style like crazy paving?
No, not really. I leave it up to the client, because I'm a big fan of granite. Always have been. It just lays nicer. It just looks nice. It's hard wearing.
It is, isn't it?
Just kind of sick of bluestone, really. Just anything other than bluestone is fine by me, really. Yeah.
Bluestone really, really still is kicking through quite hard these days, isn't it? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember back in when I started my apprenticeship, we were doing 45 mil clay pavers for every job, doing driveways, pathways. One day my boss goes, "Oh no, we're laying bluestone." I was like, "Oh, how fancy is that?" And 20 years later, I'm going, "I hate it." I hate it.
Was that the fatter bluestone, or were you talking the 20 mil?
Yeah, old 40 mil. Like it must have been Bamstone, I guess. Yeah, but it was just sort of shocking that we're like, "Oh, wow, these guys must be rich."
So if you're doing it that thick, is it still on a concrete slab, or is it like your flexible base?
We were always doing. My boss at the time, he just liked everything on concrete. Just was bomb proof. So, and I've sort of stuck with that as well. Generally, unless it's the occasional red brick paving path or something on a crush rock base with a mortar or something.
And that's still popular too, the red brick path I find, which is good. The thing, when you mentioned obviously using thicker bluestone, I think the good thing about that is it won't warp as much.
No.
Because the 20 mil stuff, I know there was a big problem of them cupping and lifting.
Yeah, the metre by 500s had it's almost like you tap one side and it vibrates the other side, so it sort of delaminates and they become a bit drummy, yeah.
Another good reason to steer away from the bluestone is you kind of eliminate that, because the bluestone will react so quickly to your different temperatures and things, especially the thinner type of profile.
Yeah. And around pool surrounds as well, it's just really hot to walk on when you're over the summertime, yeah.
I think the big popular one now is limestone's coming in.
Yeah, and I've done that at my house. It looks nice.
What type of limestone have you got?
It's a Grigio, Pietro Grigio at home. And then I've done it in 45 herringbone.
That's from Granite Works?
Yeah. In battens at the front door, and then just 8x4 pathways around the house.
Pretty cool. So how did you do that? Did you do it on a tile screed or?
What do we do?
Concrete slab mortar?
Yeah, concrete slab mortar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just mucked up the slab. So I just need to bring
do
it
something
up
with it.
Yeah, need to bring it up a bit more. But yeah, normally we'd probably do it. I need a slab and do it on glue. But yeah,
and that's I guess the reason why I was asking that is like the smaller. Did you say it was battens?
Yeah,
the
battens 200 by 50 or something. So yeah, with the mortar they sort of move around a bit.
Yeah.
So,
if you get a tile screen, you can glue it down.
No, they don't move then. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, still, whatever works. And when it's your house, I guess you got more room for flexibility to sort of try new things.
Exactly. Yeah.
With your projects that you've done over the last couple of years, anything that you're really proud of? Any projects that you've sort of stood back and went, yeah, this is cool? Yeah,
we did a real nice one. It was Lily Sabo designed it, and the pool was done by Aqua Dreams, Joel. Yep. And it was up the top on top of this mountain, and it, views just back towards. I don't even know which way we were facing, but it was back towards the sun, just coming up east way. It was just on the top of this hill, nice Grigio, crazy paving,
beautiful.
Big sort of steel arbor, outdoor sort of pizza oven, and just a really nice job.
Yeah, the Sabo way is doing. She does some beautiful, beautiful things. So where was that? Sorry,
it was out in Callista. Sorry, yeah. Just and really helped with brilliant clients as well. Sort of coffees every day with little biscuits and little treats and stuff. Just
biscuits too.
Yeah,
getting fancy. That's awesome. So how long was that project?
I think we were there for about 4 months.
Yeah.
I think.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah. It was good.
And how do you go planning something like that? Like, do you sort of, obviously you order your stone a certain amount of time before, but do you sort of have a program or a schedule you try to really stick to?
Yeah, it sort of blew out a little bit because at the time I was trying to show my apprentice, the right way, or the way I know how to lay crazy paving, and I just really wanted those sort of perfect 10 mil joints in everything, but without having to cut with the grinder too much. So that took it a little bit longer because he was just trying to be perfect, I think. And that, sort of I got in his head a bit too much. I think it sort of blew us out. But other than that, I think I quoted it. Planning is going to take X amount, and we just sort of did what we had to do. Yeah, it just sort of fell into place really nice. And
you can try to stick to a schedule when you do it, but it's always going to move, isn't it?
It does, yeah. Because there's we had the welder come out, and I was like, come on, we need you today, or we need you next week, and he's like, nah, I'm at least 3 weeks away. I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah.
To do a bit of welding for that.
Well, it was a fair bit of welding. But he was like, I'm 3 weeks, and so that sort of mucked us up a bit because I didn't want to I wanted the paving. I didn't want to do the paving with welding and have little burn marks and stuff all over everything. So it sort of held us up a little bit.
Now, I think you got to be careful with the welding. I don't know if it was near windows, but I've heard in the past that if they don't put the protection up,
the little black dots.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Same with grinders. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then apparently it's new window.
Yeah, like pretty much, yeah.
So that one got handed over, and anything else coming up with sort of that you're really looking forward to doing? Some decent projects coming
got
up?
a nice, well, it's a nice one. We got one with Josh at Southern Cross coming up. Should be nice with some more limestone paving, pulls around, bit of fancy pool fences and nice planting, big screens and stuff.
Get a start, then kick it through into the new year.
At least it'll be looking nice. End of January, yeah, hopefully.
End of Jan. All planted out, ready to go in Jan.
Yeah, perfect.
So with your time with LV, what have you benefited from it so far? Have you been to any of the industry nights?
Yeah, I went to the marketing one. Got a bit out of that. That was handy. I think we've probably picked up a job from their job board as well, which is just a pretty standard paving surround. That there's not not reinventing the wheel, but it's still job leads, and if it gets us in the door, then sure, then that's good result.
Any intentions on expanding the team? So getting another apprentice on board?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you sort of thinking there?
At 44, I can't, crawling around on my hands and knees laying pavers is it's a bit of a young man's job now, isn't it? So as I get older, I don't want to be doing that.
No, exactly. I get what you're saying. Like, it's nothing more I'd love more than sit there paving, but couldn't really do it now. So
at the end of the day,
share the gift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you enjoy teaching? Like, with someone coming, you'd love to get someone on board to teach them your art and how you do it?
Yeah, I do. I'm not perfect, so if they come up with a better way of doing it, I'm not going to go, no, it's not how you do it. It's if it's more efficient, then sure.
Just let them lead the way a little bit too, and sort of, as long as taking a bit of feedback and
just sort of, no one can say manipulate, but just sort of push them in the right direction. Yeah.
How do you think the search for an apprentice would be at the moment? Like, obviously, I've heard over the years it's been a bit tough. If you've been looking, have you found it's been quite hard, or do you think you'll be able to find someone suitable?
Every time we have been looking, I've sort of got this sort of little criteria. It's whether it works or not, I don't know. It's sort of, at the moment, it sort of looks like it works. So, if it's like a little 3 check about whether or not their parents are tradespeople, or if they play team sport like football, basketball, whatever.
Yeah.
And if they had brothers, if you play that sort of rough and tumble, you can take a bit of banter and.
Oh, so that's the criteria sort of thing.
Generally, yeah. If they sort of tick all those 3, normally we come up with a pretty decent kid to
jump on board.
Yeah, generally, yeah.
There's a lot of good initiatives now, I think, coming through with the schooling. So you've got I think it's called VM. It used to be VCAL.
Is it? Yeah.
So you can sort of get a lot of kids for a couple of days a week. And I think that's a really good avenue to start with, to be honest. But we've got a few that help us out, and you can feel them out, and they can get an idea of what it's like. And 90% of the time, if they don't want to do it, you just don't hear from them again. But there might be that small percentage, so that could always be a good starting point too. I reckon.
And that's probably I'll probably go down that way as well.
Yeah,
to lock some kids away. Or,
get them in to help help do the paving.
Just move this pallet of pavers.
That's part of it. Move it over there. Why? How come?
Because it
needs to be done.
Yeah.
Speaking of some of the jobs that you've done, any tricky clients that you've had to deal with that sort of from the word go you've thought,
bit of a red flag, yeah. I have, yeah. Like they always, inevitably, it always sort of starts out nice, and then it gets to the end, and they go, well, it's not exactly as I sort of planned, but it's one of those things that it causes me to drink. But you go home, and you can't, you try your best to be nice, and sometimes they just sort of dig in. And
how do you deal with them? If it's getting a little bit sticky, like, what advice could you give to how to deal with clients that may be a bit hard to?
Marty Semkin had always said the nastier they get, the nicer you get, and it sort of stuck with me a little bit. You try, just try and be nice, and but not often. Often it doesn't work. So I think you just got to work with them to solve whatever it is that their issue is, I guess. Yeah. It's a bit of a sticking point for me, because I tend to get a little bit grumpy.
Just randomly,
and sometimes I can't. I've got a bit of a temper, so
that's probably why you need to get an apprentice, so you can take a step back. And,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, that might be something you need to look at.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm not a finished work. Yeah.
In terms of doing the quoting and things like that, are there any particular programs or software that you use or could recommend?
Nah, I do it the old school way, just sort of on a piece of paper and square meterage takeoffs. Work off that. That's just it's just the way I've always done it. I should be looking into these things, but I'm just sort of.
Sometimes you can think it's great to get these programs, but sometimes absolutely you might be just like, this is a good way to do it, just the way that you know.
And sometimes some of the jobs that we do aren't sort of as big and don't need that sort of don't need that attention. So we're just like I said, we'll just work on a piece of paper, 3, 4, 5 pages, whatever it is. Yeah. Just get it done.
Then type it up, present it well.
Yeah. And that's something I need to work on as well, presentation. So I got some feedback recently from a client saying, the reason you didn't get the job was because we didn't think your presentation was professional enough. And I was like, well, so maybe I'll hit you up.
Did you ask them for the feedback?
I did, of course. Yeah.
That's good.
It always worries me when I go, what was I a dick or?
Well, I think that's the important thing. You do need to, and for like anyone starting out, if you don't get the job, it's always good to know. And even if you do, it's good to know why too.
Yeah.
So then you can realise what you're doing is working.
Yeah.
Like we've had that before, and I've called up and they've said, either price or we just felt a better atmosphere with Landscaper B. So, which is,
Coolabah Turf is an award-winning grower of premium, drought-tolerant, self-repairing instant turf for Victorian residential, council and commercial landscape customers. Create the perfect backyard with your next project. The kind where barefoot kids chase balls and dreams, where family pets run wild and free, and where summer barbecues with friends and neighbours turn into memories that last a lifetime. Get in touch with the friendly crew at Coolabah Turf today. Call 1800 055 515 or visit coolturf.com.au. LV members who mention this ad will get free delivery on their first order.
Fine. So you said you enjoy doing the softscape side of things too before about your plants. Yeah.
Plant combinations is great.
Do you love putting them together and just seeing what works, going to the nurseries?
Well, it's like a little therapy. I might just go on a Tuesday morning or something and just walk around the nursery and go, oh, look at that one. That looks good, doesn't it?
I'll buy that. Don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'll get it.
If I'm going to buy one, I may as well buy 6. So I'll just just fill a trolley and just walk around and go, oh, what can I do with that?
You get it back home and then go, oh, where am I going to put this? Because you can't fit it on a job.
Yeah. No, yeah. And my wife's like, oh, we've got too many already. What are you doing? I think we've got maybe 400 or 500 in the front yard already. I reckon I've still got another 100 to go.
Yeah.
At least.
Wow.
Yeah.
What type of pallet do you enjoy working with? So do you like the more your Bayside, like sea, things that don't tolerate around the ocean a bit more, or your cottagey type of plants?
Yeah. I like grasses a lot, like mixtures of grasses, and then having sort of structural bits that sort of poke out. So if you've sort of got I suppose you call it like prairie garden cottagey, sort of, and then a bit of a mixture of coastal as well in that, and just sort of stick it all and hopefully it works. Yeah, I still like those structural components like Buxus balls, and then you maybe stick it like I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like Ilex crenata. It's like a straight up. It looks like a Buxus, but it's not. Actually, or it looks like a Japanese yew, but it's not, sort of thing. They're a bit temperamental, but they look pretty good when they're doing their thing. Yeah, and they only get to about 2 meters tall. So that sort of.
I mean, that might work. So, what about your preparation for the ground? Like, if you're excavating, is there certain soils or do you put your gypsum through tougher grounds? Like,
I don't know. We don't generally do too much gypsum. I'm not sold on that. Does it work?
Oh, look, it's debatable, I reckon, because you've got to cultivate the ground first anyway. Yeah. That might do its job.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what sort of helps. So I'm a big fan of the mixing, Fulton's 5-way through. Yeah. Or their 3-way, or even Daisy's, just their garden mix.
Yeah, the garden mix through.
As deep as we can, without making too much of a mess. Yeah.
I do have to say, I think the gypsum actually does work. I just realised we had a job in Williamstown and we got the liquid gypsum.
Yeah.
And it worked wonders because there were big problems with it
Is it
pooling.
red? It's really red clay there. Is that right?
There's a lot of basalt. So you got your bluestone boulders below.
The floaters,
the floaters, exactly. But this was, I think, because I did a renovation and it was just compacted as. So we just aerated a bit and sprayed it. And 6-7 weeks later, clients like, great.
Doing its thing. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Perfect.
Best $30 spent ever.
Yeah, it's a cheap. It is cheap for, just to even if it doesn't work, it's sort of it might.
Oh, that was I was really happy I found that. But like, speaking of the products and things, anything that's jumped out at you recently, like my gypsum scenario, anything you're like, we need to keep using this, whether it's a tool or a product?
There's nothing that's sort of off the top of my head, to be honest.
There's just a lot of cool things coming out at the moment. And I think that, like even just the size of the excavators, I guess you can get the small mini dumpers and the excavators. You can get through anywhere now, can't you?
I do want to buy one of those little dumpers. But my wife she's because she's an accountant, so she's like,
you can't afford it.
You're not having it. Yeah,
No, yeah.
just cool your jets. You don't need every tool.
Well, it is.
I kind of do.
Yeah, probably do. Whether we use it every day, and as you said, if your wife's an accountant, she's going to look at it and go, "Oh,
nah.
Ash, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
But I mean, they are readily available to hire these days too, which is good.
Yeah, and relatively cheap, so fine.
And do you do that as well, like with your machinery? Will you go out and hire things when you need to?
Yeah, little mini bobcat if we need to.
Yeah.
Generally, that's around about it. I've got everything else, I think.
Probably when you're more so down the Bayside area because of the narrow dual locks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've got a bit more space out my way.
Yeah, you would. We've never really done too much out your side, but when we did, it was just phenomenal. It was just out at Ferntree Gully, but just the space we had was fantastic. And then we come back to our side, and but that's where the good thing is about all the products coming through. I feel is they're getting smaller and smaller and more accessible. Yeah. So works well. Back onto the softscapes. Any type of plant that you are loving at the moment? You said your grasses you're really into. Is there like a feature tree or something that if a client said, "What should we put here?" and it was up to you?
Feature tree.
Hedging is something that's really cool.
I like there's a plant that I saw when I was over in England one time, and one time it was a Chelsea garden show. It was a Styrax japonica, and it's called like I think it's Japanese teardrop or bluebell or something like that. It's just a beautiful tree, and this one was it was old, but it was clipped and sort of weeping, and what a pisser of a tree, like just I loved it, and same with ginkgos. I can't go past ginkgo, smoke bush, just something grows really fast and flowers prolifically over the summer.
So Chelsea.
Yeah.
You went to the Chelsea Flower and Garden Show.
Yeah, I got the opportunity.
How'd you find that?
Yeah, awesome. So I got the opportunity to do that from Semken. They did like it was it was like a trade, like a swap. So I flew over there, ruined it for everyone else, and then they never did it again. But no,
what do you mean? So did they pick you to go?
Yeah, pick me. Yeah. I sort of went and lived over in England for a year, and got the opportunity to.
Wow, that's cool.
Do the garden show there, and I think Kiama were doing their garden at the time with Wes Fleming.
Yep, and
spent a bit of time with Wes, just drinking Pims and yelling at people. That was great.
So how do you find the difference between something like Chelsea and the Melbourne garden show? Just
a whole nother level, isn't it? It's like the fact that you can just dig a 4 metre pit if you need to, just to look down where you can do whatever you want.
So you can dig there?
Absolutely, yeah. Do whatever you want, yeah.
So you're not allowed to down here?
No, you can't even put a star pit in the ground, can you? But it's a whole nother level. Just because landscapers from like Germany and all sorts, they're all over. It was amazing.
And just the way that they construct things would be really interesting to see, and what they come up with.
The whole just going over there was and different products and different laying techniques. They just use the flagstones and lay it on crush rock and
sand and things,
and stuff like and ballast, and it's just a different process, but it works, I guess.
Australia is we definitely do things a lot more with the concrete, like as in sub bases. I've noticed. Like you're right, over there they mainly on the flexible base.
I think so. Is it because it's so cold, so they get frost, and it'll probably just.
Probably maybe they've got some bigger stone, like thicker stone that might sort of act as a reinforcement or something. Speaking of the shows, have you been involved with the Melbourne Flower and Garden Show at all in your time?
Yeah, only with Semken.
Resident there these days, isn't he?
Yeah,
he always has
been.
It's great.
Just, I think I did maybe 10. I think we helped out on his best in show garden, that Japanese one he did a while ago. But yeah, so
How did you find working in those in that environment?
I actually love it. Like, it's tiring. Like, you get there at 6:30 and do your little, you have your coffee and you sort of walk around, and you don't leave until 7, and you do it for 2 weeks. It's pretty tiring, but worth it. It's like, what you can build in such a small amount of time, and that sort of stuff. And then if you need something, you just walk over to the next garden and go, if you got something, it's
everyone's working together.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Something would Global Landscapes maybe want to get involved?
Yeah, I've had this running joke with Kaz from Vivid over. I think I bumped into her, saw her at the cocktail night one time. She's like, I was drunk, like proper. I was like, I've got this great idea, Kaz. I'm gonna build this garden. It's
you were that guy.
Yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, what is it? And I was like, I'm gonna get 2 palm trees and a hammock, and I'm gonna get some quick curb. And she's like, that is a terrible idea. I'm like, and she's like, it's called Rancho Relaxo. And she's every time I bump into her, she still brings it up. She's like, remember that? I'm like, yeah. We're gonna build it one day.
Are we gonna do it?
Yeah, we're gonna build it one day. She's like, yeah. Well, how about next year? I'm like, yeah, maybe.
So maybe next year, you think?
Yeah, I'd love to build a boutique one. That'd be a good start. Anyway.
Yeah, they're great, those ones. There's some really cool things that they can do there, and a good size to start out with, I think.
Yeah. So many ideas. I've sort of just sketched it out on a piece of paper, going, this would be good. And then a year later, design trends sort of slightly change a little bit. You go, ooh, well, that's a bit dated already, isn't it? So
yeah. That's the good thing about the boutiques, I think, isn't it? You can do whatever you want and see how it comes about.
Yeah.
Anything in particular that you would have started off and done something different? So whether it's sort of got to do with the way you approach starting your own business or anything like that, like would you have had more staff at the start or kept it smaller? Something you could.
Yeah, I'd still stay small. I think I'm not that sort of guy who's going to take over the world. I think building a bigger network quicker, probably. I feel like that's sort of how we've always got our work, is just through people we know and other landscapers or other builders or whatever it is. But so I was, having a bigger network and not sort of being too shy.
Yeah.
To sort of speak to people, I suppose. Yeah, that might have been the way I would have gone about it a little bit, and probably would have started my business earlier as well. Not waited till I was 30. Might have gone when I was like 27, when I was still a bit fitter and that sort of stuff as well. Yeah.
Well, you're still out there paving now, so that's fine.
I know.
Still going through.
Yeah. Just a bit more sore at the end of the day.
Yeah. A bit more tiger balm and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
A bit more stretching.
Well, for the first time, I've started going to the gym this year, and just as maintenance, just to
help the body.
Try and help myself a little bit. Yeah, rather than be a bit of a cripple when I get home. Yeah.
Well, that might kick you through another 6 years till you're 50. So
hopefully not. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, one final question is: any advice that you could give to anyone wanting to jump into the industry or go out on their own?
Just do it. Yeah, it's a great industry. It might be going, I think it might be going through a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe it's just us, but it might be going through a little bit of a downturn because it just cost of living is quite high, and people sort of keeping their money close to their chest. But it's still, and it's great. It's a great industry, and I'm not planning on stopping. So.
And so, what's next for Global Landscape?
Get into sort of pool building is maybe on the horizon. Just sort of becomes a management thing, then, doesn't it? So it's sort of a little bit less on the tools, a little bit easier. Still not an easy job, but you can sort of sub it out a little bit more and
another branch. That
exactly.
Sort of
So we're just
Oh, good stuff.
Might be the go. Yeah.
Awesome, Ash. Well, look, mate, thank you very much for coming in. It's lovely having a chat, and look forward to seeing what Global Landscapes comes up with soon, mate.
Sure. Thank you.
Pleasure. And that's a wrap for this episode of The Front Garden, brought to you by Landscaping Victoria and backed by Coolabah Turf, proud supporters of the landscaping industry. Don't forget to follow the podcast on your favourite platform so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's chat, share it with your crew, your mates, or on your socials. Let's keep growing this community together. I'm Adam Hompas. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time in the next episode of The Front Garden.